Hey guys, today I'm going to show you why doctors should visit ancient temples. This is a 1,000-year-old temple called the Tarakeshwara temple. This is called the Makara Pranale. This is actually the spout in the shape of a Makara. A lot of people think that Makara is a mythical animal. This kind of animal did not exist during ancient times, and the sculptors merely imagined this. And some people say that the Makara actually existed once upon a time and it became extinct. Now, let's look at this carving and show some insane detail. Look at this. Okay, so you can see that the Makara's mouth is open and the water is supposed to come out of it. This is a normal depiction. You can see this in many ancient temples. But what's really surprises me is that they have carved these ridges on the palate, the roof of the mouth. You can see these ridges. And of course, if you don't have a pet, if you don't have a dog or cat as a pet, you would think these are imaginary details. But people who have pets and who have seen the inside of the mouth of these pets know that these ridges actually exist. There is a term for this. This is called ruga. Each ridge is called a ruga, and the plural is rugae, and this is called palatine rugae. And this actually exists in animal, and it has a purpose too. It holds the food in the place when the animal is biting the food and then and it helps swallow the food. So it actually has a real purpose. So imagine how the sculptor was able to carve these palatine rugae in the carvings. But let's say you're a geek and this rugae did not blow your mind. There's one more detail in this carving that's really fantastic. You see this little bump just below the front teeth. There's a tiny little bump, and this is actually an organ. Yes, it's an organ called the Jacobson's organ. It's also called the nasal organ. And now, of course, some of you will say, oh, PraveenMohan has just invented a new organ called the Jacobson's organ. No, if you open the mouth of a cat, you will see the Jacobson's organ exactly in this location as it's depicted here. It's just below those front teeth, and it only looks like a tiny little bump, and you can see the line in the center, okay? Now, what is this Jacobson's organ, right? It detects chemicals in the air. It is like a nose, but it's more advanced than a nose. It can even detect pheromone and help cats find their mate. So, and this Jacobson's organ, most people don't even know that some animals have this Jacobson's organ. But imagine a quote-unquote primitive sculptor carving this Jacobson's organ inside the mouth of a Makara, which we think doesn't even exist or did not even exist. So my question is, how did a sculptor who lived 1,000 years ago carved these ridges called rugae and also carved the Jacobson's organ inside the mouth? There are two possibilities here. The first one is to say that ancient sculptors used a live Makara as a model and carved this by examining its mouth, just like how today's artists use live models to create accurate anatomical details. If you accept this means you also accept the Makara existed 1,000 years ago and became extinct recently. Think about it. Did such a fantastic animal exist with trunk and feathers until the last few centuries? The second option is to accept that ancient builders had very advanced knowledge of anatomy and knew about these rugae and the Jacobson's organ in animals like cats. They must have studied this and then decided to replicate these details on this mythical animal Makara. But this means ancient Indians possessed sophisticated anatomical knowledge. Now, you've seen details about animal anatomy, but how much did ancient Indians know about humans? In the same temple, we can see plenty of carvings about humans as well. Now, here you can see a series of carvings. It's very interesting to me. They're actually showing motherhood step by step. Okay. So here you can see this expectant mother, right? She's an expecting mother. And you can see her fully pregnant. She has a large belly and probably in her 8th or 9th month. And you can see her face. She is clearly depressed. And you can see carvings of, fully pregnant mothers being depressed, sitting like this in many ancient Indian temples. Now, what's interesting to me is that experts have, quote unquote, discovered recently that expecting mothers have a depression called prepartum depression. Now, we all know that after delivering the baby, mothers have a postpartum depression, but now they've also discovered that they have a prepartum depression before giving birth to the baby. But ancient Indian temples have carvings of this. They repeatedly show carvings of this prepartum depression of fully pregnant mothers. And you can see her face, how she's depressed. Now, this is the first step, right, in motherhood. Now, here is another carving. It's a brilliant carving. Take a good look and tell me what you see. People get confused by this carving all the time. But this is a woman delivering a baby. Now, you can see the baby coming out from the body of this woman. So the baby almost appears as though it is coming out doing a namaste, right? And it's coming out like facing head down, which is a normal way of coming out. And above the woman delivering the baby, you can see the nurse helping her, right? So the nurse is standing above this woman and is holding her wrist. Notice this is a very good detail. She is holding her wrist. She's not clasping her hand like this. She's holding her wrist like this. Now, this is an inside joke among all the nurses and medicos that you're never supposed to give your hand to a woman delivering a baby because she's going to squeeze it so much, she'll break your fingers. So you're not supposed to give your hand and she's not supposed to hold it, but you should be holding her wrist. And ancient people knew about this because you can see the exact same detail that she is holding the pregnant woman's wrist, not the other way around because she's going to squeeze it so hard. She's going to break, the little bones. And so ancient people knew this detail. You can also see another nurse at the bottom making sure that the baby does not hit the hard surface, right? So she's making sure that the baby is being delivered gently. So this is the second phase. And you can see the third phase here, right? You can see the third carving here where this mother is now feeding the baby. Look how carefully she's holding the baby. One hand is below the child's neck and the head like this. And the other hand is holding, this child's bottom. And see, even the baby is shown holding the mother like this. And this is typically what the babies do. They hold the mother's body while they're feeding. And so you can see them step by step. You can see the mother ready to deliver the baby. You can see the mother delivering the baby. And then you can see the mother feeding the baby, right? So this is a 1,000-year-old temple called the Tarakeshwara temple in Hungary. And it shows motherhood step by step. Now, imagine you're walking into a fertility clinic or a doctor's office today. This is typically what you would see while you're waiting to see your obstetrician. Today, we categorically accept that these posters are put to educate people. They're not religious posters, right? Is it possible that ancient Indians were also carving these details to educate the people about motherhood? Why else do we see these extraordinary scientific details in ancient Indian temples? In this video, I have not only shown you details about animal anatomy, the rugae, and the Jacobson's organ, but I've also shown you prepartum depression and other details related to motherhood. I'm not a doctor, but if I could find so much information in just one ancient temple, imagine real doctors actively exploring these ancient temples. They could find a lot more information hidden in these fabulous sites. So, if you're a doctor or a scientist, please do visit ancient Indian temples and please share your findings with us. I hope you like this video. I am PraveenMohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.